Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Thursday, August 20th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're now down more than 0.5%. We were flat to lower all morning long, but with some earnings and announcements in the tape, the market is falling, and we're down 0.54% ahead of the actual open. The market's dealing with a number of issues. We got the news surrounding Iran. We got higher oil. We got treasury yield issues. I mean, President Trump is seeking to increase his pressure on Iran, which is pushing the oil prices higher. He wants to create basically an economic stranglehold on Iran, and he's using very tough rhetoric. But the fact remains, he'll do anything to get a deal. The rhetoric doesn't matter. Bond yields, remain a key focus. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he did do some efforts yesterday to stabilize the long end of the Treasury markets, but this is just short-term relief. It doesn't really fix the underlying problem. The underlying problem is you've got a lot of debt being issued by these AI companies, and that's pushing the rates higher. And the Treasury Department really can't do much about that. So it's unlikely that that's going to have a lasting effect. The key economic data point for today is going to be the jobless claims report that's due out 1 hour before the opening bell. In corporate news, you got to watch these crypto-related assets like Coin and Robinhood. I mean, they're moving higher because President Trump had a meeting with leading crypto executives, and during the meeting, he urged Congress to advance the Clarity Act and establish a clear regulatory framework for digital assets. Google, Microsoft, Meta, kind of under watch this morning. Australia made a move to impose a tax on advertising revenues generated by major tech companies. And they're only going to do it on the tech companies that don't have distribution licenses for news content. So, that's an interesting way to go about it. What do we have? LHX shares under pressure. CEO was pushed out after an investigation into a situation involving a subordinate. He denies it, but the probe found that something was going on. On the earnings front, Walmart, ATHM and John Deere are trading higher following their results, while Walmart and Alibaba are trading lower. After the close today, we get FLO and Ross Stores, ROSD. What else do we have tomorrow morning? What do we got tomorrow morning? Buckle, BKE, BEKE, and BJ's store, BJ, are all scheduled to release. Now, we're taking a look over at Europe, and you look at the DAX. It's now down 0.51% or 132 points, with weakness in telecom, chemicals, and software stocks. In London, the FTSE's down 39 points or 0.37%, with weakness in consumer stocks and mining stocks. In Paris, the CAC is down 0.39%. Luxury stocks are weakening over there. Then we're looking over at Asia last night. In Asia, what was positive? I got to say, it was positive. I mean, you look at the Nikkei, it jumped 1.36% or 890 points, with gains in mining, autos, and pharma stocks. Hong Kong finished higher by 0.8% as healthcare and tech stocks advanced. And in China, the Shanghai Composite rose 0.24% as the PBOC left its benchmark lending rates unchanged. Then we look at oil, and oil is moving again this morning. We get WTI at $88.67, up 3.31%. We got Brent at $94.38, up over 3.01%. I mean, President Trump, signaled major escalation in economic pressure in Iran. And he's going to launch the most crushing economic operation ever. But his rhetoric is designed to send a message of strength, powerful. But the market knows Trump will agree to anything to end that conflict. He will take anything that they offer on the table, be willing to agree with it, just to kind of get out of this situation. The ramifications of sticking in there much longer are going to really destroy the Republican Party, and he does know that. So his key thing is to get out. And if he talks tough, It's not factual because he's willing to do anything to get out. Okay, now we're going to take a look at earnings action. We're going to start off with ticker DE, David Edward, which is John Deere. Stock's up 2.29%. They beat by 40 cents on higher revenue. We look at ticker AAP, Advanced Auto Parts, Apple Paul. They're down 18.12%. They beat by 22 cents on higher revenue. Then you look at Walmart, ticker WMT. Stock's trading lower, 5.95%. They beat by 7 cents on higher revenue. The street didn't like their guidance. After the bell, we got Ross Stores, ticker ROST. They're due out after the close. EPS is scheduled to be. EPS is expected to come in at $1.92. Expected move is 6.39% when they release. On the economic front, jobless claims, that's going to be the key one for today. That comes out at 8:30 a.m. Also at 8:30, we get the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. 10 a.m. leading indicators. 11:10 a.m. we're going to hear from St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Nassau. In terms of news hitting the tape, that story about Australia tax ad revenues on tech firms don't have news distribution licenses. That's a key one. That's a big one hitting the tape this morning. That affects Google. That affects Meta. Meta is quietly becoming one of Microsoft's largest AI customers. Netflix, Google, YouTube is offering millions of dollars to the popular content creators to upload their content to YouTube first for a short period of time. Interesting. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, Walmart's e-commerce global sales rose 23%. NVIDIA. President Trump is going to be with AI executives next week at the White House. Look what that did with the crypto stocks today. Chevron, CVX, oil stocks trading higher as the markets react to President Trump's rhetoric on Iran. In terms of guidance, Walmart came in, they're forecasting guidance at 280, 287, street estimates at 290. That's the issue. Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, they raised their full year 2026 EPS to $2.60 to $3.30, where the street estimates at 293. Widespread though. TLX, that's Telex Pharmaceuticals. Citibank raised the price target and put it on its 30-day Catalyst upside list. Moving on to today's pick of the day, I'm going to go with KE Holdings, ticker BEKE, Boy Edward, Kilo Edward. Earnings are tomorrow morning. EPS is 31 cents. Expected move is 5.18%. Yesterday's call volume, 1,885 calls, 1,040 puts, 1040 puts. That's a put-call ratio of 0.55. That's in the sweet spot. Open interest, 52,000 versus 17,000. Very positive. Major brokers do like it. They're raising price targets. I want to get in 1695 area is kind of what I'm shooting for. But as soon as I get my 1%, I'm running. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about the stocks hitting the tape this morning. See if we see anything relevant, anything exciting happening. Allstate announces July estimated catastrophic loss was 682. Oh, not bad. A little high. Ticker SYY, Sam Yellow. They increased board side and provides an update on their D.E. Shaw relationship. Employers expect healthcare costs to rise 11.1% next year, biggest rise in over 20 years. Let's see what else we got here. Democrats want to press Kevin Warsh to disclose any calls he has with Donald Trump. Meaningless. It's not going to happen. Chipotle FDA says the salmonella outbreak was linked to jalapenos from Sonora, Mexico. Crowdsourcer CTO is leaving. He's going to co-found a new venture firm. And the trial with Meta, Zuckerberg's, the ex-employees saying Zuckerberg encouraged growth over child safety. Federal appeals court on Wednesday upheld a more than $1 billion settlement to resolve claims against real estate brokerages that conspired to inflate agents' commissions. That's all I'm saying. Okay, now we're going to move on. We're going to talk about yesterday's pick of the day. I went with Alibaba yesterday, and I was, pretty clear. I wanted to get out as soon as it got to 1%, and look what happened. The stock opened up at 127.77, ran to 129.50 before closing at 128.93. So it was there off the opening price, so that's good. Stock's a little weak today, but Alibaba hit the 1% goal yesterday, so that's all good. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green today.